Hey folks, hope you all are doing well. I'm Karan Bandal from Economist Site, and in this video, let's talk about the revival of international tourism post 2019 or post COVID pandemic. We'll talk about the global regions that have recovered and what role India may be playing in all this. Based on the data from the UN Tourism Dashboard, this chart indicates the number of international tourist arrivals globally. The numbers are broken down by key geographic regions. Basically, the higher the number, the greater the international tourism activity. You can see in 2019, over 1.4 billion arrivals were recorded, with Europe attracting the most international tourism. Once the COVID pandemic forced nations to issue lockdown orders, however, international tourism plummeted by almost 75% in 2020. And since then, it has been on a painfully slow road to recovery. Even as of the end of 2023, the total number of international tourist arrivals is down by over 10% when compared with the data from 2019. Asia and the Pacific are the worst performers. The region is only at 65% tourism activity level as of 2023 when compared with 2019 data. The only regions that have surpassed their 2019 tourism numbers are West Asia or Middle East and Europe. West Asia, in fact, has surpassed its 2019 international tourist arrivals by 22 million. This highlights the importance of airports like Dubai International Airport and others as travel hubs. In this context, take a listen to this analysis on potential travel boom in India and how it may affect the revival of international tourism, particularly in West Asia or Middle East. The amount of money Indians now spend on travel and tourism is quite surprising. Previously, Indians did not used to spend money, but now some of us are cultivating the habit of spending money and enjoying it with family. India's thinking is changing, and a rising GDP incomes might have something to do with the shift. Let's talk about that first. Ray Dalio recently released the Great Powers Index for 2024 that talks about the future prospects for 24 leading countries including India. Ray Dalio is an American billionaire investor and a philanthropist. He is also one of the most respected voices in the world of investing. So his index uses some 81 indicators including labor productivity, innovation, education, debt obligations, etc. to assess future economic growth of a nation. According to this index, India tops the list with projected real GDP growth of over 6% annualized over the next 10 years. This is driven by number 1, robust investment. India's infrastructure spending has topped $100 billion every year for the past 3 years. Number 2, moderate expansion of the workforce. And number 3, relatively low debt load. India is followed by the UAE, Indonesia and Saudi Arabia with over 4.5% projected real growth rates. Among the European nations, Poland and Russia top the list, whereas Germany and Italy are projected to shrink marginally. So as you can see, India's GDP is expected to see a healthy growth according to this index, and one of the ways this growth might manifest on the ground is the expected travel boom coming out of India. For example, the Financial Times interviewed a New Delhi resident who's planning to take her son to Singapore soon. They found out that the family spends around 20,000 rupees on domestic trips sometimes. But now they are thinking, why not spend a little more and go abroad? One of the travel industry groups explained that the prices in resort destinations in India, such as Goa and Kerala, have increased to such an extent that they have made foreign trips to nearby countries like Sri Lanka, Vietnam, Thailand and Singapore that much more attractive. This is called as outbound tourism, Indians traveling to foreign countries outside of India. In 2019, Indians spent roughly $38 billion on outbound tourism. India was the 10th biggest outbound market then. But by 2027, India is expected to pass Australia, Canada and France to become the world's 5th biggest outbound market accounting for almost $90 billion in the market value, more than doubling its contribution from 2019 levels. US and China top this list as the residents from both the countries spend over $200 billion each every year on outbound tourism. India's domestic tourism is also flourishing. By 2027, India will rise to become the third biggest domestic tourism market. Even here, US and China eclipse the rest. They both have huge domestic tourism markets worth over $1 trillion each. As for Indians, West Asia or Middle East is the top destination for outbound travel. Indians are now the biggest source of holiday makers in Dubai, ahead of neighbors Saudi Arabia and Oman. After West Asia, Indians prefer Southeast Asia, then North America, finally Western Europe. The two big airlines of India are planning for this tourism takeoff in India. Indigo Airlines and Air India both have ordered almost 1,000 new aircrafts between the two of them in 2023. These two were the biggest orders in the aviation history. I hope you found this analysis interesting. I'll speak with you again next week. Until then, take care.